The alien fleet moved into Earth's orbit with an imposing confidence, their sleek ships gleaming with the cutting-edge technology of a race that had conquered countless planets before. For them, this was routine. Humanity was merely another species to subjugate, another world to claim. Messages of surrender had worked before without fail. Every race before had cowered at the sight of their fleet and the power it represented. The alien commanders, assured of their superiority, transmitted their demands to Earth's leaders, expecting compliance. Their message was clear and direct: immediate surrender or face obliteration. They waited for the inevitable reply of submission, but to their surprise, Earth's leaders responded with a brief statement, denying the demand and expressing a need for terms, if peace were to be an option. Terms? The aliens scoffed. This was the language of the strong, not of a species outmatched by galactic might. In their minds, humanity's response was a thinly veiled attempt at stalling, a move they saw countless times before from species desperate to survive. "This resistance is futile," one alien officer remarked with a smirk. The command room filled with knowing chuckles, confidence radiating from the ranks. They made quick preparations to unleash a demonstration, a show of force to end all illusions of human resilience. Calculations were made, coordinates set, and with clinical efficiency, they unleashed a controlled strike on a remote military installation. The blast radiated with intense heat, leveling the base and leaving nothing but scorched earth behind. This, the aliens believed, would be enough to silence any further delusions of defiance. But instead of panicked transmissions, they received a calm, firm reply. The human message was clear: "We will not surrender." The words hung in the air, a statement of defiance the alien commanders had not anticipated. For a moment, they wondered if they'd misheard. Every race they'd encountered had broken by now, scrambling to save themselves. Yet humanity responded with resilience, refusing to yield even when faced with superior power. To the aliens, it seemed almost foolish, a suicide mission wrapped in pride. "Perhaps they're braver than we thought," one officer noted, but his superior dismissed it as bravado, typical of a species yet to understand their true place in the galactic hierarchy. Still, they decided to escalate. Another strike was ordered, this time aimed at a populated area to drive home the reality of their power. But as the strike was prepared, the alien sensors detected something strange: human forces mobilizing, not retreating, nor pleading. They were preparing for war. Reports flowed in from alien scouts, detailing human activity across the planet. Cities fortified, defenses activated, and military forces deployed on a global scale. Civilians were moved to safety zones, communication lines were reinforced, and the aliens' invasive surveillance network, normally left unchallenged, was systematically taken down by human hackers. Rather than cowering in fear, Earth's population appeared to be preparing for a drawn-out fight. In the alien command center, confusion began to spread. The humans' refusal to bow was one thing, but their organized response was unexpected. They acted as though they'd been preparing for this moment, as if every citizen had anticipated an invasion. The thought unnerved them, though they brushed it off as an anomaly. "They may put on a brave face, but their defenses will crumble soon enough," the alien commander said confidently. As their forces moved to the next phase, they encountered resistance on multiple fronts. Alien soldiers expected their deployment zones to be secured without opposition, but as soon as they landed, they were met with fierce resistance. Human soldiers appeared from hidden positions, deploying unorthodox tactics that left alien squads disoriented and unprepared. What had seemed to be an easy sweep turned into a series of battles across terrain unfamiliar to the aliens. Humanity's tactics were not bound by conventional warfare. Their soldiers used everything from guerrilla methods to terrain-based ambushes, evading direct confrontation and striking where the aliens least expected. Alien commanders grew frustrated, issuing orders to root out the pockets of resistance with brute force. Yet every time their soldiers advanced, they faced another setback, another ambush that left them scrambling. The humans displayed a level of adaptability the alien command had never encountered. Where other conquered worlds had broken under pressure, humans fought back with a relentless determination that refused to bend. Finally, in a desperate attempt to crush the human spirit, the aliens broadcasted a message across Earth, one that would normally intimidate any enemy into submission. They detailed the consequences of continued resistance, warning that they held the firepower to destroy entire cities in a single strike. They expected a reaction, a tremor of fear to ripple through the humans' ranks. Instead, they received a response devoid of desperation. "We will never surrender!" This unwavering resolve stunned the alien commanders. It was beyond anything they'd encountered in all their conquests. They regrouped, determined to push further, certain that the humans were bluffing. But as they prepared for the next wave, the defiance of Earth loomed large in their minds. For the first time, doubt crept into their ranks. Alien troops descended onto Earth, expecting a swift and calculated sweep of resistance. With technology far beyond Earth's known capabilities, they anticipated only minor obstacles. But as soon as they hit the ground, reality contradicted every assumption they had. Human forces, though visibly outmatched technologically, countered with unexpected strategies that threw the aliens into disarray. Alien soldiers moved through dense forests, assuming human resistance would be scattered and disorganized, but they were met with coordinated ambushes, each one surgically planned. Human soldiers didn't engage in predictable firefights. They set traps, hit weak points, and vanished back into the terrain before the aliens could respond. Alien commanders, who had relied on sheer force in countless other conquests, found themselves faced with an enemy that was elusive and resilient, knowing every inch of their homeland. It was as if Earth itself was fighting back. Frustration grew within the alien ranks. Their ground assaults met with countless obstacles, sabotaged equipment, disrupted communications, and unconventional attacks from every corner. Humanity's creativity in war baffled them. They were accustomed to species surrendering under such pressure, but these humans seemed to thrive in the chaos. Alien Command issued directives to overwhelm the resistance with brute force, yet the harder they pressed, the more fiercely humans countered, exploiting every gap, every mistake. In urban zones, alien soldiers attempted direct confrontations, expecting the typical capitulation of urban centers. Instead, they were met with tightly coordinated resistance. Humans used the maze-like city layouts to trap and misdirect them, dismantling alien platoons with improvised tactics that defied every standard of traditional warfare. Civilian fighters emerged from unexpected places, turning homes and offices into strategic positions. Human resolve was relentless. Even civilians played critical roles, acting as scouts, saboteurs, and organizers of small but fierce counteroffensives. It became clear that the humans weren't fighting out of necessity alone. They fought with pride, with an unbreakable refusal to surrender. Back in the alien command ship, reports poured in detailing the humans' unyielding tactics. Commanders analyzed the battlefield data, but the patterns they'd depended on with previous conquests didn't apply here. They realized, to their frustration, that human ingenuity and adaptability made them an unpredictable foe. Alien soldiers were trained for direct confrontations, rigid in their strategies, and dependent on superior tech. Humanity, in contrast, was adaptable, resourceful, and unrestrained by conventional methods. Alien Command began to understand that this wasn't a mere battle for territory. They had provoked a species that valued freedom over survival. Desperation crept into the alien strategies as they tried to force a swift conclusion to what should have been a simple conquest. They launched massive strikes on key infrastructure, expecting it to cripple human organization, but the human response was chillingly efficient. Power grids were restored faster than the aliens could disable them, and human engineers devised countermeasures that slowed down the alien strikes. Alien commanders, perplexed and increasingly desperate, realized they were fighting not just against a species but against a spirit, a refusal to submit no matter the odds. Morale among the alien ranks began to wane as reports of human counterattacks came in from every front. For the first time, the alien commanders faced questions from their soldiers, questions about the strength, determination, and endurance of the humans. Whispers circulated, carrying an unfamiliar, unsettling tone. Perhaps this conquest wouldn't be as easy as they'd assumed. Perhaps, they thought, the humans were more than just another primitive race. The alien commanders dismissed these fears at first, but each report of resistance chipped away at their confidence. Human forces, meanwhile, remained undeterred, their response fueled by a defiant unity. Stories of fallen comrades were passed along the front lines, strengthening their resolve. The aliens couldn't understand it. In every prior invasion, such losses would have broken morale. But with humans, every setback only deepened their will to fight. From remote villages to sprawling cities, the message was clear: humanity would rather face annihilation than surrender. Despite their technological edge, the alien forces found themselves on the defensive, reacting to human attacks rather than advancing their own objectives. The humans' intimate knowledge of Earth's diverse landscapes became an asset beyond anything the aliens could counter. Dense forests, rugged mountains, and sprawling deserts turned into battlefields, with human forces using the environment as both shield and weapon. Each attempted advance was met with resistance, each landing point sabotaged before alien troops could fully deploy. The growing losses began to shake the aliens' resolve. Commands to press forward were met with hesitance as alien soldiers reported the relentless attacks, the defiance that seemed to be woven into humanity's very fabric. Alien Command issued orders to intensify the assaults, attempting a show of overwhelming force. But even then, the humans didn't break. For every alien strike, humanity regrouped, striking back harder than before, their resourcefulness unmatched. As the intensity of human resistance continued to mount, a creeping fear settled into the alien command. They had come expecting a quick victory, but they'd awakened a species with a will that couldn't be conquered. The humans were not merely fighting, they were refusing, defying with a strength that surpassed physical force. As the battle raged on, Alien Command grew increasingly desperate, realizing that humanity's resistance was not a mere nuisance but a formidable obstacle. Reports from the field painted a grim picture. Human forces were somehow adapting to alien technology with alarming speed. Initial scans had shown Earth's technology as primitive, but now, humans were turning the aliens' own weapons against them, exploiting weaknesses in armor, disrupting shields, and disabling key systems with uncanny precision. Alien engineers worked frantically to find countermeasures, but humanity's ingenuity kept them one step ahead, constantly adapting and evolving. In one of their largest strongholds, human scientists and engineers gathered around captured alien devices, dissecting and analyzing every component. The atmosphere was intense, driven by a singular goal: understanding the enemy's technology enough to turn the tide. Working around the clock, they discovered weak points in the alien systems, specifically vulnerabilities in their energy networks and propulsion systems that could be exploited to disable entire squads. With each breakthrough, human forces gained an edge, and word spread rapidly across battle lines. Soldiers became emboldened, and their strategies sharpened, using alien tech not just as spoils of war but as critical tools in their counteroffensive. When the alien commanders launched another wave of attacks, they were met with a coordinated defense unlike anything they'd faced. Human forces moved with precision, their tactics bolstered by their newfound knowledge. Alien ships were intercepted and disabled mid-flight, their powerful weapons rendered useless by human countermeasures. Command centers received reports of entire squadrons immobilized, their systems mysteriously deactivated just as they entered engagement zones. Alien pilots, once confident in their superior vessels, now hesitated, shaken by the realization that they were vulnerable. The technology that had once made them invincible was now a liability. Alien High Command, reeling from these unexpected losses, began to realize that humanity was no longer on the defensive. The humans were fighting back with a determination and clarity that defied all previous conquests. Alien commanders met in emergency councils, discussing their deteriorating situation with a gravity they'd never known before. For the first time in their history, they were faced with an enemy that didn't just fight back, it learned, evolved, and countered with a force of will that defied logic. The alien commander, tasked with overseeing the invasion, reviewed the latest footage with a growing sense of dread. Scenes of human soldiers dismantling alien machines, coordinating precision strikes, and holding their ground against impossible odds filled the screen. Every scenario he'd prepared for had fallen apart. The strategies that had won him countless victories now seemed powerless against the relentless ingenuity of humanity. To him, the humans were no longer just a species, they had become an enigma, a force he couldn't predict or control. Desperation pushed the alien command to a breaking point. The idea of retreat, once unthinkable, began to creep into discussions. They had underestimated humanity in every conceivable way, assuming the humans' tenacity would break like every other species before them. Yet here they were, not only resisting but actively dismantling the aliens' grip on the battlefield. The human forces showed no signs of surrender, their resolve only growing stronger with every battle won. Back on Earth, humanity was unified in a way it hadn't been in generations. Borders, differences, and old conflicts melted away as people came together to face a common enemy. Soldiers, scientists, and civilians alike worked side by side, fueled by a sense of purpose that transcended survival. The stories of human victories, of alien ships brought down by human ingenuity, spread like wildfire, igniting a fierce pride across the planet. To surrender was unthinkable, to bow, impossible. Their resistance wasn't just for Earth, it was a statement to the universe: humanity would never be conquered. The alien High Command, increasingly frustrated by their inability to gain ground, issued one last attempt to secure victory. They ordered a full-scale assault, pooling every resource, every remaining soldier, every last piece of weaponry into one decisive strike, hoping to overwhelm humanity through sheer force. But by now, humanity had not only adapted to their tactics but had gained enough intelligence to predict their next moves. In a coordinated effort, human forces intercepted the alien advance, meeting them with a relentless barrage of attacks that took full advantage of every weakness they'd uncovered. Humanity's resilience was on full display, a spectacle that defied every expectation. Alien soldiers, once the terror of countless worlds, faltered as they witnessed human forces countering every move with precision and a fearless resolve. Human forces moved forward, pressing the aliens back, step by step, reclaiming territory and dismantling the alien war machine piece by piece. The battlefield was no longer a place of conquest for the aliens, it had become a testament to humanity's refusal to bow, a relentless assertion that Earth was theirs and theirs alone. By the end of the offensive, Alien Command faced a grim reality. Their forces were battered, their technology compromised, and their morale shattered. They had expected humanity to fold under pressure, to bow and surrender, as every species before had done. Instead, they found themselves in a battle they could no longer win, against a foe that not only resisted but adapted, grew, and stood unbreakable. As the last remnants of Alien Command watched their forces falter, the realization set in that humanity had become the nightmare scenario they'd never prepared for. They had expected a brief show of force, an exercise in their own superiority, and instead they were left with a harsh truth: humanity would never yield, not even at the brink of destruction. Alien commanders, hardened by victories across countless worlds, now faced a decision they never encountered before: abandon the invasion or risk total annihilation. The Alien Council convened one final time, reviewing the grim state of their campaign. Reports detailed extensive losses across every division, a complete breakdown in morale, and a growing fear that had permeated their ranks. Soldiers, once assured of an easy conquest, were now openly wary, their confidence eroded by humanity's relentless defiance. Alien commanders couldn't dismiss the dread that had settled over them. Humanity had fought with more than weapons. They'd fought with an indomitable will, a refusal to be broken that had left alien forces in disarray. Alien High Command considered issuing one last desperate threat, a final ultimatum to humanity. But even as they debated, they knew it was futile. Every message of surrender, every threat, had been met with unyielding resistance. Humans didn't fear the consequences. They had shown time and time again that they were prepared to face obliteration rather than bow. The alien leader's gaze hardened as he made the decision: they would retreat. For the first time, they would leave a world unconquered, and the shame of it weighed heavily on every alien present. They were leaving not because they lacked the weapons, but because they lacked the power to subjugate a species that refused to submit. As the order to withdraw was issued, alien ships began to pull away from Earth, leaving behind a world that stood undefeated. Human forces watched the retreat with silent resolve, knowing that they had won not just a battle but a validation of their strength. Across the planet, a wave of pride surged as people learned of the retreat. They had stood against an enemy that had felled countless worlds and had done so with nothing more than their collective will and ingenuity. Humanity had become a legend, a species that would rather face extinction than surrender. For the alien forces, the retreat was bitter. They'd lost more than ships and soldiers. They'd lost their air of invincibility. Commanders prepared their reports, each one struggling to describe humanity's unyielding nature without sounding like they had been bested. The final message sent to their homeworld was succinct: Earth was unconquerable. Humanity was not merely a species to dominate but a force they could not overcome. As the alien fleet faded into the depths of space, the legend of humanity's defiance began to spread. Alien leaders, soldiers, and civilians alike heard of the species that refused to bow, a species that had turned back an empire's finest fleet with sheer determination. For the first time in their history, the aliens had encountered a species that wasn't just surviving, they were thriving in defiance. It was a story that would ripple across the galaxy, a story of resilience that couldn't be crushed, a strength that no empire could diminish. On Earth, humanity resumed life, but something had fundamentally changed. They'd proven to themselves and the galaxy that they weren't merely inhabitants of their world, they were its defenders, its protectors, bound to it by a unity that transcended borders and beliefs. The invasion had become a catalyst, turning humans into a force that would be remembered long after the dust of the conflict had settled. And as they looked toward the stars, they knew that the galaxy, now aware of humanity's strength, would think twice before ever testing them again. Humanity had shown not only that they would fight, but that they would never surrender, their spirit unbreakable, leaving a lasting reminder that they were a force unlike any other in the galaxy.